Hi viewers, I am delighted today to be bringing you a brand new watch from Squale, and it's the new version of the 1545. Now this is the original one, but they now have this beautiful new model, which as you can see is very different. It's more inspired from the 1970s original 1545 from Squale. And I'm glad to see that it's a lot more unique. It doesn't have that generic homage style that the original one has. It is much more unique, which is so pleasing to me to see something more like some of the other Squale designs, much more original to what they do, and unlike any other watch out there. I think this is a real winner. So before going into any further details on this, I'll just run through the specs on this little beauty. Now the case size on this is the same as the original one at 40mm diameter. The lug-to-lug is just 48mm. The thickness is 12mm. The lug width is 20mm. And this has an upgraded water resistance rating of 300 meters. It also has a sapphire anti-reflective crystal and a gorgeous ceramic bezel. Now this one is powered by the SELLITA SW200 Elabore movement, so it is upgraded and is much more accurate than the standard SW200. It has 26 joules and a 38-hour power reserve. Now the first thing I want to mention about the design of this watch, the overall looks, I really do want to explain the colour of this one. As you might know, they have launched this in black as well, with a black dial and also a white one. This is what they call grey. Now if you have seen the pictures, and like me, from what you see on the internet, it doesn't look grey, it looks blue. And if you're wondering, also like me, like I was really not too sure until I got this watch, is it grey or is it blue? Well, now I have it in my hands. To me, I can safely say this is blue, but a very grey blue, if that makes any sense. I mean, or Air Force blue. There are some sharks with this kind of blue-grey colour. Maybe that's not a coincidence. But nevertheless, it is a very interesting and unusual colour. It reminds me of these farrow and ball paints that my wife insists on whenever we decorate in the house. I think every room now, every wall has farrow and ball paint, and those shades are very hard to put your finger on as to what colour they are, which makes them all the more appealing, I suppose. Mind you, they're not cheap, they're £60 a tin. But it's the same with this. Those colours are very unique. So I hope that clears any confusion up about the colour. Probably not. It's as I say, it's a difficult one to put your finger on. It's most unusual. Now the rubber strap, they do describe it as grey, and actually this is grey. I don't really see much blue in the strap at all. It is a cool grey, but it's not like the dial and the bezel. It's not got a bluish tone to it. It's just a lovely dark, cool grey. Now, as I said, the bezel is ceramic, and it has a very nicely finished markers on there which are engraved into the bezel insert and filled with white paint. The dial has a matte finish to it and some really beautifully applied indices filled with the vintage looking superluminova, and those markers on the dial, again, hard to tell from photos if that's red or orange, but it is in fact orange, a very deep orange. Now let me just talk about the crown, because the crown on this watch is wonderful. It's a nice big size sign there, you can see, and a lovely polished finish to it, and very easy to grip. Screw down crown, of course, great pop, and the action is really nice, very slick, buttery smooth. Same with the date change. And I have to say, this crown does feel a hell of a lot better than the original 1545. As you can see, it's completely different, but the crown feels much more gritty. So I'm glad they fixed that. This screwing action is not the same, much more refined on the new model. And side by side you can see how different they really are. I mean, obviously these ones are different colours, this one's on a steel strap, but the dial and the bezel are very different. You wouldn't really think it's the same model, but in my opinion it is a great upgrade. It's a good choice from Squale. I think I like the idea they hark back to the more original one from the 70s. And yeah, this previous model is a beautiful watch, really well made, a lovely one to wear, but it does not have nearly as unique a look to it as this one, and that's what I love about this. It really is quite unusual looking, but I think they've pulled it off. It does have a very distinctive, pleasing look to it. Now the finishing of the case is superb. The sides are highly polished. Look at that mirror polish to that edge, beautiful. The tops of the lugs are brushed. The bezel has this wonderful coin edge to it, and that's polished and goes really well with this ceramic insert. It does have an overall more prestigious, refined feel compared to the previous model. And I think the price is amazing really for what you get. These retail for approximately $650. And on the bracelet it's a bit more, but I think that's superb value. It really does feel like a very well made, high quality Swiss watch. And you've got all that marvellous history to go with the Squale name as well. This is not a micro brand, this is a proper traditional Swiss made brand with a lot of interesting history. They originally started off making cases for brands like Blancpain and some other high-end luxury watches, but then they decided to manufacture their own watches, which I'm glad about, and here they are to this day, bringing out some wonderful new models like this. Okay, so how's the bezel action on this one? Well, it is fantastic. It's a lot better than the previous model. Feels really secure, a lovely sound, no play at all. Just feels very high quality. Lines up perfectly. It's a fantastic bezel, really is brilliant. Good job on that. And as you can see, it's got the Lume pip at the 12 o'clock position as well. Let's have a quick look at the case back. Screw down case back, very nicely finished. Right, okay, I'm going to put it on the wrist now, show you how that looks. That looks gorgeous, and it is super comfortable. This Tropic rubber strap really is excellent. I was worried it might be a bit plasticky, but it's not at all. It's very flexible, very soft, and so comfortable. And the buckle is very attractive, finished off to perfection. You've got the matte emblem there, and then the rest of the buckle is polished. But a lot of detail into that, so yeah, I'm pleased they put so much thought into the buckle, because that's sometimes often ignored, so just finishes off the strap perfectly. Lovely, the lugs do curl down and it sits really flat on the wrist. Obviously it's quite a slim watch as well and a small case size, so it just fits like a dream. Really very nice indeed. I do love that. Okay, let's hit the lights and show you how this Lume looks in the dark. It's very bright and nice to see an even spread of Lume on the markers and the hands. You've got the Lume pip as well. And I think, to me, this does seem a better, brighter Lume than the previous model. Can't complain about that. That's great. What an absolute beauty this watch is. It really is very classy. I think they've done a really good job with this. So before I wrap up, I'll just zoom in on that dial, show that in a bit more detail. Superb. Really is finished off flawlessly. That sword style handset is perfect. Really nice, clean, crisp edges. Lovely orange tip on the second hand. The date window is very clear and well finished. The printing on the dial is magnificent, really, really crisp, very sharp. Nice bold colours. Again, hard to nail down the colour. It's orange or red, I'm not sure. Let's just say that's orangey red. Lovely sweep on the hand. I do like the marker at 6 and 12 and 9 and 3. You've got that rectangular shape there with the orange paint on the end as well. And you can see the shape at the 12 o'clock marker is slightly different to the 6 o'clock. The edges flare out and get wider at the top, whereas it's just a straight rectangle on the bottom. Same with the 9 o'clock. Nicely done. And the bezel, as I said, that ceramic bezel is perfect. Lovely deep etching of the numbers and the markers there with that white finish. Looks fantastic. So let's just have a look at that crown. I love this crown. It reminds me a bit of the Oris Speed crown on some of their watches. It really is finished off so well, and it's a good nice size. I do like a big crown, but it's quite thin as well. And the case there finished off to perfection. I think the edge of the bezel is very well done. Yeah, it's just super high quality all over on this watch. Brilliant. Okay, well that is it. That is the Squale, the new model 1545GG. An absolute winner in my eyes. A beautiful looking watch, very distinctive, very unique design, unique colour scheme, and a great revision of the original model. So I really do hope you enjoyed looking at this. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.